Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Football for Rookies podcast. I have not said that in quite literally so long, and it makes me so emo realizing the fact I have not said that in so long. But it has been one hell of a semester between, college. I feel like I have honestly gone through hell and back with how crazy this semester has been. But I think before we get into that, I'm going to be changing things on this podcast a smidgen. First of all, my goal is to start using my camera. Hi, hello. Um, I'm using my little lav mic at the moment. If you followed any of my TikToks, you probably recognize this mic. I don't have my big mic. None of y'all have ever seen said mic because I have never used video. But I think in this new era of football for rookies, I'm gonna be using camera because why not? Um, and I'm gonna preface, when I made those couple episodes last year, well, not last year, the beginning of this year, they were for a class, and I was honestly holding myself back a little bit because I was being graded on them. And of course, when you're being graded on something, you put more effort into it. And I honestly would just rather be yapping about the sport, learning some things, whatever. So I'm going to let all hell break loose. The words will be coming out. I will let my true emotions show about things. I'm not going to hold back, essentially, is what I'm saying. I will 100% educate you, if you're listening, to talk about anything when it comes to football for rookies, whether it be what a sick pick six is, what a first down is, everything. I will 100% putting my personal hot takes into this, though. Because if you've listened to any of my other episodes, you know Kenny Pickett and I. He is probably one of my least favorite players in the league at the moment. But like we can get into that later. We can get into that later. So I'm gonna change things a little bit. I think I'm gonna redo my logo. I'm gonna re-record my intro. Like I'm gonna do some stuff. And I think honestly, I've evolved as an NFL fan, as a sports person, as a reporter for crying out loud. Um, but I think along with that, this podcast also needs to evolve. So that's where we're starting first of all. Second of all, I don't think I've ever actually given a proper introduction to myself unless you've listened to I think it's my intro. I don't know, I can look. Let's look. Unless you've listened to my like intro type thing, I don't think you really know who I am. So I think this episode especially is going to be introducing myself, who I am, and honestly what my credentials are to be, yapping about this shit. I don't know how to use Spotify. I'm just not realizing I don't know how to use Spotify. Add account. Log in. Continue with Google. I love when I'm not prepared for things. Another thing is, I used to script out my episodes so much because I knew they were graded that you could tell they were probably script. Log in. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know my password of those. Oh, okay. Um, they were very scripted. I would have my iPad. Obviously, I film on my MacBook, but I would have my iPad. Oh, wait. The hell? No. Log in. Continue with email. Not that one. Um, I would have them very scripted. And that was honestly more because of the fact that, oh, there we go. That was because of the fact that I was so worried about my grades, because I still am. I still am. I am a creature of habit, and I am always more worried about what my grade is on something rather than. Oh, it's like not on Spotify. That's fun. I was more worried about what my grades are and everything rather than being more worried about the product I was putting out. So I would spend more time spending I would spend probably 2+ hours scripting these podcast episodes and then just yap and read directly off of my iPad. And I don't want to do that. And I think that's the one thing that I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. So, oh, my trailer, that's what I was thinking of. Oh, it has 4 plays at the moment. Also, I think another reason I stopped doing it was because of the fact that I was getting like no views, and I think that kind of discouraged me a little bit. So I'm not gonna let it discourage me this time. So that's my yap. I was also holding back my yapping capabilities, and I think we don't need to hold those back anymore. You guys need to see my true authentic self, and I think That'll make it better. So we're gonna go in. I'm gonna introduce myself and give you my credentials. So, if you didn't know me, hi, I'm Becca. I am currently a senior in college. I go to Point Park University in downtown Pittsburgh. I am a double major in broadcast reporting and sports communications. I have always been in love with sports. That is something that I've always gravitated towards my entire life. I have three older brothers, two of which played sports when I was growing up. My one brother played high school football, and that's honestly where my love came from. His senior year of high school, he was playing. It wasn't his senior year; it was his junior year. It was his junior year. He was. I think it was like a divisional game. I don't know. I went to a really small high school, and we were we had made it far enough that we made it to a state divisional. I don't know. I think it was a semifinal. I think it was a step up because the high school I went to, it used to be the Westpac District 5, and then you go to the state championships. I think they won the District 5, and they were going towards state championship. They lost this game, I believe. But I didn't find this said picture until I was probably about 12, 13. Well, no. I was like 14, 15 when I found this picture. My brother tackled a player from Clarendon. His name's Tyler Boyd. If that name sounds familiar, he was drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals right out of Pitt. He went to Pitt. Now plays for the Tennessee Titans. So knowing that picture kind of sparked my idea for going, oh, maybe I could work in sports. I graduated high school. I was just a broadcast reporting major. And I came up here thinking, oh, I'm going to anchor news. I want to anchor news. Turns out I don't like hard news. I hate having to talk about school shootings. I hate politics. I hate having to talk about things that actually matter to people, I guess is unless you're a sports fan. I hate talking about like really hard-hitting news because there's a difference for Yens who don't know. Yes, I'm saying Yens because Pittsburgh. Hard news is like your politics, school shootings, really things that are going to impact your life essentially. Soft news is more like, oh, puppies. Oh, like I do a lot of stuff at the school TV station here, and one of the stories I actually read last night was about a hospital in Lidditz, which is over by Lancaster, had a twin boom and had 4 sets of twins born. Which you don't hear that often, and that was one of my stories. That's soft news. And then you get to sports. And I didn't really let myself experience sports until my sophomore year of college. It was second semester sophomore year. I really started thinking I was going to work in sports. I kind of had a realization after being told by a professor first semester second semester freshman year. Both 2 different professors, both of them told me I would make a horrible journalist. The one my first semester, that was probably the one that hit me the hardest because it's a professor who I've always loved, and I don't think he remembers me, but he was someone I looked up to as a journalist, and for him to tell me that, it kind of discouraged me a little bit. I almost did drop out of college after my first semester, but I didn't. And then I had another professor who would yell at me because I didn't understand AP style, which, like, we aren't really taught AP style that much, but I digress. So sophomore year comes, and I really start thinking about going into sports. Well, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go the route of sports reporting, sports photography, just working in sports in general. And I don't know what class it was. I really wish I could pinpoint the class that made me realize it. I want to say it was my reporting class I took my sophomore year of college, which, horrible class. But it kind of sparked something in me that was like, I want to work in sports. And because of that class, I must fully change my major. I must drop my reporting major and went to sports comm. But then last year, first semester, I kind of got the idea of maybe I could just double major. So I decided to double major, and it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. I have honestly, with taking all these sports classes, like I'm 100% taking my reporting classes. I took a class last year, it was on camera performance. I learned so much, and the one thing that everyone always told me whenever we would do stuff in that class, it was always, you seem happy when you're reporting, but whenever you start talking sports, your face lights up, your eyes light up, you know what you're talking about. And I'm always like, thanks. Thanks. But that was something I wasn't like used to, and it kind of took me a lot to push myself to double major because I was kind of like scared. I mean, I'm still scared. I get that fear all the time, but like it just took me a little bit. So I double majored, taking a bunch of sports classes, and then I started this podcast. I took a sports podcasting class and I started this. It was originally going to be, I've had this idea for a while. It was going to be called NFL for Dummies. And it was essentially doing what I did, just educating, but I know I was very scripted. I know I was very to the point, to the point, to the point, that it sounded bad. And my dream job 100%. I have two that I always say. And this is on my resume. It's not on my resume. It's on my LinkedIn. It's on my portfolio. My more achievable goal, well, achievable, I want to be a sideline reporter in the NFL. And 100% the goal is to work in the NFL no matter what. My dream job, like if I got this job, I would probably scream, cry, throw up all the emotions. I want to be an insider or an analyst in the NFL. I want to be able to watch football and talk about it. Like I want to be paid to do that. I jokingly always say I want to be paid to watch grown men tackle each other. Is what I always jokingly say. And it's achievable. It's just I also am going into a field where women are discouraged, women are talked down upon, and everyone's always like, you should get an internship. But every internship I apply for, it's, oh, we found someone better who suits the role. So, like, it's just that discouraging. And I think I wasn't planning on doing this today, making this video. I was not planning on doing it. But I kind of just got the inspiration and I'm letting it take it. I'm taking it. So that's my yap. I am so excited to bring this podcast back. I am planning on bringing my podcasting mic up to college with me after Christmas break because this time next week I will be packing to go home for Christmas break and I'm home for a month. Most likely going to be filming videos and stuff while I'm home. So like you'll get some cutesy little videos, cute TikToks. I just filmed a TikTok that I'm going to be posting. I have to edit it, but I'll be posting. And I'm going to try. So we are currently, let me double check what week it is in the NFL because I'm going to do a little NFL recap and see how we go. I'm not going to talk through all the teams, just there's a couple that are like most notable that I think should be talked about. There's a couple things happening that should be talked about also. I did not realize that game was this weekend. Ooh, okay. Sorry. Can I get to the whole NFL? I'm on ESPN if anyone's wondering. I don't think anyone is, but I have it open on my phone. So we are going into week 14 of the NFL. Last year, your Super Bowl contenders were the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Eagles won, right? Let's look at my standings. The Eagles are currently the top of the NFC East with an 8-4 record, and then you get to the Kansas City Chiefs, who are the third seed in the AFC West with a 6-6 ranking, 6-6 record. 6-6 is also what the Pittsburgh Steelers have. They had a great start with Aaron Rodgers. He's not my favorite person in the league. I will be the first person to admit that, but he's done a lot better than I would have thought. And he did have his left hand fracture. He was out for a couple games. Mason Rudolph came in. Mason did great. I just don't think Mason's used to being back with the Steelers yet. So your standings right now we're going to go through all of them because why not? I said I wasn't going to talk about every team we were going to. The AFC East, surprisingly, the New England Patriots are on the top with 11-2. Your Buffalo Bills are 8-4, Miami Dolphins 5-7, and New York Giants 3-9. AFC North, there's a tie for the first of the league, or the first of the, I guess, the division is what I'm meaning, sorry. And I guess it's a tie because technically the Steelers are in second. But, okay. The Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers both have a 6-6 ranking. These two teams play each other this weekend, which is going to determine the entire AFC North. And honestly, this is my favorite game every season. I love the Ravens-Steelers game. The history between the two rivals and the fact that, like, I don't know the number exactly, but the Steelers have won against the Ravens more than the Ravens have won against the Steelers since 2016. It's a really big deal, obviously. The Cincinnati Bengals are 4-8, and the Cleveland Browns are 3-9. No surprise, it's the Browns. I hate saying it that way, but um, AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars are 8-4. Sorry, Indianapolis Colts 8-4. Indianapolis Colts have done so well this year. At one point, they were the top of the AFC division in general, which honestly, more power to them. The Colts need a good season. The Houston Texans are 7-5, and one of the first teams to be eliminated for Super Bowl contention is the Tennessee Titans with a 1-11 record. The AFC West, the Denver Broncos, 10-2. They have not been up since Peyton Manning was there. Yeah, because they didn't do that well with Russell Wilson. So yeah, Los Angeles Chargers are 8-4. Kansas City Chiefs 6-6, and another team that has been eliminated from Super Bowl contention, the Las Vegas Raiders, with a 2-10 record. Now we are going into the NFC. I don't know what I was about to say. The NFC East. Your Philadelphia Eagles 8-4, Dallas Cowboys 6-5-1. They have tied with the Green Bay Packers. Washington Commanders 3-9. Another team eliminated from Super Bowl contention, which honestly the Giants went through so much shit this year. It's insane. 2-11, which we'll get into that in a second. I'll get into that shit because you know what I'm talking about now. Quarterback changes at the wazoo. Russell Wilson was in, and they're like, he sucks. So they put Jackson Dart in. He ended up getting a concussion, and during that, Mike Vrabel, that's not his name. Mike Vrabel is the coach for the Patriots. New York. Nope. Fuck. New York Giants former coach. He's no longer the coach. I think their offensive coordinator is their new head coach. If I see the name, Brian Drabel. That's who I was thinking. Him and it's like Scadebo. They both, when Jackson Dart was in the blue tent getting evaluated, they both went and looked. Both got fined, and then after that, the Giants organization was like, we need a new coach. So they got that. Jackson Dart is in with QB1. I honestly knew he was going to be great no matter what team he went to. I was expecting him to go to Pittsburgh. He's doing great, 100%. It's not the Giants' year. It's just not the Giants' year. NFC North, this is where I'm surprised. The Chicago Bears are 3-9. They have not done that good since Caleb Williams was drafted. He was a first-round draft pick. One of his first plays in the league was him throwing a football and it not completing. And he was very well known his first season, not completing passes. So they're doing great. A lot better than I was expecting. Green Bay Packers, 8-3-1. They again tied with the Cowboys. Detroit Lions, 7-5, and then Minnesota Vikings, 4-8. The Vikings did so good last year. I don't know what changed. NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 7-5. You know, go Mayfield. The Carolina Panthers, 7-6. Atlanta Falcons, 4-8, and then another team eliminated from Super Bowl contention, the New Orleans Saints, 2-10. Los Angeles Rams, 9-3. Seahawks, 9-3. San Francisco 49ers, 9-4, and then Arizona Cardinals have been eliminated from Super Bowl contention with a 3-9 record. So, why am I saying there's a lot of stuff happening? Well, first of all, the Chiefs, I don't even think they're in Super Bowl contention when it comes to the wild card rounds. They're not in the hunt or anything. I mean, actually, yes, I think they are. Compared to last year when it was Chiefs Mafia and the Powerhouse, they started their season with an 0-2 record, which every team needs a bad year. The Chiefs went into last year's Super Bowl thinking, oh, we're going to win, and Cooper DeJean showed up, basically. He was the one who got that pick 6. So, there's that. And it's just very swapped, because, like, the England Patriots are usually bottom of the AFC East, but they're the top, and the Buffalo Bills are number 2. Buffalo Bills are doing great, don't get me wrong. The AFC North is always just a hellscape. AFC South, I mean, I would more expect Jacksonville to be the 3rd instead of the 1st. AFC West, Kansas City, you would expect it to be 1st, not the Broncos. NFC East. I just said East. NFC East is honestly pretty accurate. The Eagles at the top. NFC North, again, I would expect it to be fully flipped with the Lions at the top and the Bears at the bottom. But, you know, there's a season for everything. So you can't tell. It's week 14. You cannot wait, right? Yeah, we're going into week 14 tonight. You physically cannot tell who is going to be in the Super Bowl. And like obviously the NFL always posts on Instagram and all their social medias. They're like, this is the if this playoffs were to start right now, this is who would be in it, right? It changes every week. I'm currently on their Instagram right now. They announced the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, you know, honorees, which is awesome. I'm trying to think. Jordan Mailata for the Philadelphia Eagles, just going through this. Travis Kelce for the Chiefs. Trying to think if there's anyone else who's like Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers. Max Crosby for the Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry. Is there anyone else that's like kind of Baker Mayfield? Yeah, just the normals. Oh fuck. Where is it? They post it usually Tuesdays. Okay, that was 19 hours ago. The NFL posts so much. That's like my only like complaint, which like I know they have to, but like, where is it? Okay, that is there. So it should be in this realm somewhere. Okay, your playoff picture. If it was, that's my own Instagram. My goodness. If the playoffs would start right now, right? First seed who would get the bye for the. Okay, this is. I didn't even look at this. For the divisional round, who would get the bye week? Your first seed for the AFC North, the New England Patriots. First seed for the NFC, the Cleveland Bears. No, Chicago Bears, Cleveland Bears. And then your wild card round, your second seed, Denver Broncos. Third for AFC, Denver Broncos, Jacksonville Jaguars, Baltimore Ravens, Los Angeles Chargers, Indianapolis Colts, Buffalo Bills. So it would be the Bills and the Broncos, Colts, Jaguars, Chargers, Raiders, Ravens. Okay. Then we get into the NFC. Your second seed is Los Angeles Rams, then the Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Seattle Seahawks, Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers. So this 49ers versus the Rams, Packers versus the Eagles, and then the Seahawks versus the Bucks. Compared to last year where it was Chiefs, Eagles. It's insane. And it's honestly, I wish I could say with full honesty who I thought was going to be playing in the Super Bowl. I have no idea. And I'm not going to be able to like fully give an answer until wild cards start. So there's all of that, right? And then speaking of the Super Bowl, you get into the controversy with the halftime performer. This year is Bad Bunny. He is a Latin American from Puerto Rico. Most of his music is Spanish though, so everyone's very mad about that. But like, no one's gonna be happy about the Super Bowl halftime performer. That is the one thing that I have learned in the past couple of years. No one's ever happy. Everyone was mad at Kendrick Lamar last year. Everyone was mad at Usher the year before. Who was before Usher? I don't remember who was before Usher, honestly. But like everyone's always mad. And there's no happy medium is another thing that I have learned. So we're not even gonna get into that. So yeah. It's just such a random episode. It's just me yapping. But like I kind of just have missed this so incredibly much. And I do get to talk football a lot, but I also have that little nagging voice in the back of my head that's like, you're a girl, you should not be talking football. But honestly, fuck that. Because, yeah, I am a female. Yes, I am a woman in sports. But that's not going to stop me from talking about what I really enjoy. And football is one of my greatest passions. I do dabble in other sports. Just, I prefer football. I always have. It's the sport I understand the most. But I think a little NFL recap was needed. It's just a crazy season. It's a crazy season, and it's so unpredictable. And there's been so much happening around the league that, like, we're not even gonna get into that. But I usually do have my episodes be a little longer, but because this is kind of like a start back, I don't really mind having it be a little shorter. I will obviously be posting on all my social medias. Let me double check this. I don't think I've made a Twitter still. And I know I have my professional Twitter. for like that I use for my stuff. But no, I wait. Can I do it here? No, I don't. So right since I'm done with this, I'm gonna edit a TikTok. I'm gonna make a Twitter. Um, so we're gonna do that. I will obviously be back. Full heartedly, will be back. You can follow me on my social medias on Instagram. I don't remember my Instagram handle. Yeah, this is bad. My Instagram at I think it's just my Instagram is football.for.rookies. My TikTok is football for rookies without the periods. We'll be making a Twitter, and if you want to follow me personally, which I don't mind whatsoever, my Instagram is Becca Trulick Sports, and I think that is the same as my Twitter handle. I'm pretty sure. Yep, they're both the same. So follow me on there. You're gonna see a lot of my professional stuff. I do on my Twitter do a lot of yapping and a lot of reposting and a bunch of stuff. So it's always that. But I'm so glad to be back, and I'm not gonna let anything discourage me. I'm gonna give you the real raw and ugly of the NFL. And if there's anything you guys who follow and listen want to see from this podcast, let me know. I will take anything and everything into consideration. If there's anything you want to learn about, know about, whatever, I got you. But that's all for this time. Bye, rookies.